another stuck another one after we had just come off of birdie.
Are there galleries?
Well, because the groups were in head and behind, so you ran into.
Oh, okay.
At one point after we hit another iron, just tight, the guy goes, "Enough already," which we thought was the greatest compliment.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I had on one of the par fives. We had the people behind us who were trying to. They came in second, but I think we won by 5 shots. I mean, it was
you run away.
Yeah,
Your
the
Tiger
lowest
at Pebble.
it's ever seen. Yeah, they came to watch. I had to hit a cut 6 iron from about 195 on a par 5 where I had to really banana it around where it juts out there on the only par 5 on the back 9, and I hit it pure, and I started like Ric Flair strutting after it to about 8 feet. We made the eagle.
Naturally.
Of course.
What a time.
It was as much fun as you can have on a golf course. It was great. We told Brylo that from now on he's just Bry, like Colquitt was just Cole because he had no
There
quitting
actually
him.
is a human Bry?
Brylo
is a human?
Brylo, yeah. He's the organizer of the Brylo Invitational.
Wow. I didn't realize it was actually
Self-named.
a Brylo human. And
Yeah.
he has you on your team. You're on his team?
No, I'm not.
Oh, he's a
very
separate.
sad.
He's a
he
separate
almost had a
human.
hole in one though. I almost witnessed him get a hole, and we kind of got robbed, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
He had an absolute peach, but we told him afterward, just like Colquitt was only Cole because there was no quitting him.
That's right.
We told him he can only be Bry because we got the low. And so now it's the Bry Invitational.
The Bry Invitational.
Yeah, we'll bring the low. No worries.
Are you at a point now where you'll have to break up this squad? Is it too good for the competition, or will
I
there
don't
be
know.
accusations of carpetbagging? Will there be
No, everybody knows.
of
Because they were there. There were a couple of holes where we would get bunched up on the tee, and there was one hole, the second to last hole, and it was pretty comfortably over, but nobody was in play. And so it came down to me, and they're like, "Don't choke it, Segura." Blah, blah.
Yeah, please.
Right
Fine,
down the middle.
fine.
Yeah, we're safe. We're
Hey,
safe. So that was a
to
lot
see
of fun.
here.
That
That's
was
good.
That was a good time. Good
That's
times
very
were
good.
had by all. Yeah.
What is the? Is there a trophy? Is there some sort of hardware that can get passed around?
The kind that comes in envelopes.
Yeah, but I think at this point with this type of fame, there needs to be some sort of cup, something to drink.
I think there
of.
should be a WWE Championship belt with our faces on it.
Well, yeah, you could do that. I like the idea
like
of a
a
cup
cup, yeah, we
that
could
you
drink
could
out
pass
of it and
around
pass
and
around, sure.
drink, and then
I'm
you
fine
have
with that.
one. And,
I'm fine with that.
Kind of a Stanley Cup situation, like
Right
a
now
mix
it's-
between.
It's just more of a pad the lope situation.
I love that. I mean, I love any time
Cash
you can
is
do that.
king, they say.
Yeah, that's good. That is very, very good. Well, that's good. That's a nice little Sunday for you. Another championship.
Yeah.
We had a fantastic
How about
time.
you? Yeah.
Well, we had a fantastic time Monday. The fantastic Mr. Previtz hooked us up, and we were able to tour the USS Minneapolis-St. Paul. I know you were able
I
to do
did this
that
morning.
today.
Incredible ship.
It was awesome. It was humbling, and
Hence-
to do it on Memorial Day. I wore that one yesterday.
Yeah, of course you did.
To do that on Memorial Day was extra special and very, very cool. And that was very cool. We had it was pretty wacky, lots going on. We had lacrosse in Elyria on Saturday, where we encountered probably the most egregious form of NIT banner chasing that I've seen. So if you have kids in youth sports, what I'm going to explain is something you're very familiar with. So we call it chasing NITs. So
Consolation championships?
So here's what happens: you get your kids in your youth sports, and there's divisions for
Sure.
championships. So there's usually there's an A, B, and a C. They can call them different things: elite, whatever, however
Yep.
you want to call them. But it's an A, B, or C bracket, and you're that way based on where you play. And
Correct.
for the majority of a season, and I've seen this now heavily in basketball, and I saw it this weekend in lacrosse.
Don't tell me they're going to drop down levels at the end.
The next level is next. We'll see you on Thursday. No, it's what happens. So
What?
that you spend the entire season playing in a division that's appropriate. So Hudson has a very, very good lacrosse program. They're in the
Okay.
state semifinals this week. And the way that Hudson, and I'm sure this leads to what I'm going to explain in a little bit, but one of the reasons for it is we play third and fourth graders together. So by the end of the season, the third graders, having played with good fourth graders, they elevate, and they're a lot better than they were at the beginning because
Yes.
kids put the ball on their sticks and so forth and so on. But we do not have an A, B, or C. So our fourth graders are split amongst 3 teams. The best fourth graders are split amongst 3 teams. Best third graders are split. So you have a wide range, and it lifts and the program works. So we get to this tournament over the weekend, and as soon as I see the bracket, I'm going, and no names. There's no reason for me to bury cities in the area. I'm not going to do that. But as soon as I see the names on the bracket, I'm going, well, those are not B teams. So we have 15 kids on each team, and the way we do it is you can play 6 kids in the field at a time and a goalie. So you play a minute and a half at defense, minute and a half at midi, or 2 minutes at midi, 2 minutes, whatever, and then 2 minutes attack, and then you're off. So you may not, if you started attack, you might not get back on the field again, maybe not until the second half is the way it works. So 2 of the teams that we were playing had 10 kids on their team and didn't rotate, and we're all fourth graders. So as soon as our fourth graders would rotate off, and it would be all thirds, they just got annihilated. And it was what I call NIT chasing. So they shouldn't be in this division. They should have, if they're going to have all fourth graders and play 7 kids, then play in the A division and go play against other teams that are trying to do that. But for these coaches in these communities, they're trying to hang banners in the 4th grade because they think it matters a lot. The hard part is, hold your questions. The hard part is, well, I understand it as a parent, and I think anybody objective would go, well, this is ridiculous. What are we talking about? This 4th grade. Are you out of your mind? The answer is yes, you are. It's really hard on the kids because, for example, my son who's a 4th grader, he only was able to play 18 of the 40 minutes because he was you shifted out. So he was only to play. We lost by 3 to a team that was ultra physical, and a lot of our 3rd graders just got crushed. So that was my Saturday. And yes, your question, sir.
So you're saying this team should have been an A team,
2 of them, actually.
but they played in the B the whole year?
No. They would have been A much of the year.
Yeah, so that's it.
They dropped down to B to play here to hang a banner.
So you shouldn't be allowed to do that. If
Well,
you're
no,
A,
of
you're
course
A.
not, but nobody can police it because the tournaments are all over and it's up to the individual organizers. There's 1,000 teams and there's 1,000 different philosophies on how to do it.
I just think in week 1 for the season, your team you declare what league you're
Theoretically,
in. Theoretically,
that would be the way to do it. That would be the way to do it. But that doesn't happen in hoops, and it didn't happen here either. So it was a bludgeoning.
That's not cool though.
No, and it was bad. It was bad. And I think people like sticking it to us a little bit because you got a good program, so people like to stick it to you when you can. But then next year we'll go A, B, and C.
And then once you get into the 5th grade.
5th grade, then it goes different. And this is all just philosophically how you run your program. Just depending on how you do it.
Some people start
earlier. So we did that. Went to the lake on Saturday. That was wonderful. Loved that a great deal. And then and was back. And so it was good. Good weekend, man.
How long were you up there for?
We were just up there overnight because I had stuff that I had to do yesterday morning. I had a little bit of work I had to do. So I had to get back for Monday morning.
No swag sightings?
No, I looked for him at CIC at brunch on Sunday. And I thought for sure he'd be they do like the blessing of the fleet or whatever. How can he not be there? Like there's all these guys in white pants and white shoes and hats. It felt like perfect for swag.
Yeah.
That he'd be in the mix. I was on the lookout for him on Sunday morning at brunch, but no sign of swag. None.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, who knows? But overall, great weekend. Gibbe, how'd you do?
Yard work.
Oh, for 4 days?
Feels excessive.
I had a 300-pound piece of equipment that I picked up on Saturday morning that digs trenches and beds, the bed like edger. That was Monday.
What'd
Sunday
you do
and
Saturday?
Monday. I mean, I had a little drinking on Friday night.
Have a good time?
Little cocktail
Did you
on
get out?
Sunday night. I played Sunday morning. First 9 holes, like I'd never played the game of golf before. Back 9, like I can make a run on Z's squad for his little competition.
Let's go.
The Bry. I like it.
Played quite swimmingly.
Oh, that's good.
Had no idea what couldn't drive, couldn't putt for the first 9. Put it together on the back and salvaged the round.
Well, that's a win. I thought I was happy that the Sunday NBA game delivered. That ended up being thrilling that was fun in the end. Yeah, and I saw people going at Butler on the shot. I just think I don't know how you get a better shot than he got. He's on the break. It was a 2-for-1 situation. You're down 2. He scored 50 the night before.
It's a perfect transition.
It's a perfect transition step into 3. I don't know what else you'd want him to do. He short-armed it, but you can't fault the shot. The shot was
perfectly
crazy.
Good shot.
Yeah, I worry about Boston's coaching from the standpoint that Marcus Smart took like the last 5 shots for them, which seemed excessive for somebody who doesn't shoot well.
Feels like a bit much. I would agree with that.
Yeah, a lot of him and Al Horford in the last 4 minutes as they were up 11, and then it went to nothing.
Give me a little more Tatum in those scenarios.
Who are we rooting for? Warriors, Celtics. I mean, both these teams are pretty hated around here.
Yeah.
Just watch the NHL.
I'm fine with it. I just want them to be good. I think it's going to be I think it'll be entertaining. I think they're both likable teams, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with either one, too. I like them both. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think it'll be largely entertaining.
I mean, I think, would we be surprised if Boston won this? I feel like this
No.
is Golden State's to win or lose. They will determine.
I think that'll. I don't know. When you talk to people who claim to follow the league, they're in awe of Boston's defense and how well they play. So I don't know. I tell you, Miami was hurt big time without Tyler Hero. I mean, he averages 21 a game. He didn't play the last 3 games. He played next to nothing in Game 7 because he was banged up and obviously not himself.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty remarkable what that coaching staff did to get them to this point. But it was good. It was good to see that. And so that starts on Thursday with a timely, like, 9:27 tip.
Of course.
Right? That's smart. I like that. That'll be fun.
It's ridiculous.
There's no reason.
There's no reason games should end
I mean, that'll be
after midnight.
That'll be well after midnight.
Yeah.
9:27.
Yeah.
It's well over midnight.
What was Gibby's percentage of people who are not on the Eastern time zone, though? So they're fine.
Those people will be fine.
They're like 68% in the Midwest.
That's right. There was a lot. He had a lot in the Midwest, in the Mountain Time Zone. He had a lot of people in that Mountain Time Zone. It's like 6%, I think, is the actual number. We are 100 days to kickoff.
Is that right, Gibby?
Yes, per Field Yates, 100 days to kick off of the National Football League season. I think we're like at 103 with us, but
103 to us, but the Thursday nighter is 100 days, huh?
yes, sir.
That's it. There you go. It's hard to believe.
Exciting.
Yeah. No, not me. I have no interest in rushing away summer.
Me neither, but
I look forward to the game, but I mean, let's leave it there.
Sure,
You know.
sure.
Have you you saw Maverick? Have you seen Maverick yet?
No.
I haven't either. I was
told I need to see it in an IMAX.
I was told by the same person on the same text chain.
That's right.
Yeah, and I'm trying to facilitate that to find a way to do that.
Crocker Park
Is that the only one?
and the Science Center, right?
Come on over to the West Side, kids.
After what I saw this weekend in lacrosse, no thanks.
Oh, boy. Shots.
God, I can't wait to know because I'm
Fired.
getting people trying to guess who you played nonstop.
Enjoy your 3rd and 4th grade banners, your little NITs. Enjoy
Are you
'em.
looking at me when you say that?
Kinda
I'm
felt
looking
like
at
he
the
was.
West Side. I'm looking at your people.
Oh.
Gibby. I'm looking at your people.
Your people.
Your people. No, I'm kidding. It's all good. So yeah, you got 100 days on that. I think it is. I think it's only Crocker. I think there's nothing
Yeah.
on our neck of the woods.
You
Columbus
used
has
to be able
2.
to catch it like you used to be able to do like Science Center. Where I felt
That's why I
like
said
use
Science
that
Center maybe.
IMAX to
Yeah.
show stuff for a while.
The thing is, the screen, though, like at Valley View,
Mm-hmm.
that XD screen is pretty good. It's not IMAX, but it's pretty good.
You need that big. Yeah, you got to
For
have
the
the
flight
big
scenes.
experience for the
Yeah.
flight scene. So I'm gonna try to do. I got to be in Columbus at the end of this week. So after the golf, I'm gonna try and see it down there. There's a couple of IMAX theaters down there, so I'm gonna try and do it down there. 100 million. Cruise's first $100 million movie.
First 3
First
days.
weekend?
It's
First
the
3
biggest
days.
opening
Now, it
weekend
didn't even
ever.
count yesterday.
Which
He was
is
at
stupefying.
120 million going into Monday.
That's stupefying when you
I
think
can't
about
believe
that. None of the Mission Impossibles at 100 million the first weekend.
Even Days of Thunder. Days of Thunder was hot.
It was a
Love
heater.
that movie.
A lot of heater.
Cold trickle.
Well, I think anytime you run back the same movie, it's a win.
Jets for
But
play.
that's surprising to me that none of the Mission Impossibles. I thought
Yeah,
those
this
were all
was his biggest opening weekend of
blockbuster.
his career. Yeah,
Yeah.
stunning.
You know, it was I was talking to Nick Paulus, and there was a great article yesterday. I think it was in the Wall Street Journal about how Tom Cruise may have saved the movie industry because he refused to put this
Oh.
on any streaming. It was done almost a year ago,
That's right.
and they wanted to just put it out on like via a streaming service or something. And he said, "We will wait until the world reopens, and we will put this in the theaters." And
Jeez.
like he has essentially saved the movie theater. I mean, you couldn't drive past a movie theater and
No.
not see a packed parking lot this weekend.
No, that's a great point. It was amazing he's probably the one guy, and this is the one entity that he would have the power, that a single person would have the power to stop. Like,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
we're not. We'll wait and we'll do it right. So
Top
they
Gun
did.
Maverick.
That's right.
He
After
is
all.
Maverick.
That's right. We missed this. This happened on Friday. The Chief, 4 years, he gets paid big time. The 25-year-old, an extension reportedly worth $56.75, $28 million of that guaranteed on the Chief. And this makes us very happy because he's a great friend of the program, a good dude, and now going to be in the fold for a very, very long time, and a cornerstone now of this offense going forward.
Yeah, and you knew that this was a season where you really felt like he was going to break out. So people would say, well, he hasn't produced yet like a tight end that should be amongst the top 5 paid tight ends in the league. Well, part of that is opportunity, right? And so last year when Austin Hooper was here, Hooper took 62 targets. You take those 62 targets, you throw those over to the Chief or a large chunk of those and get him up into the 80, 90 target range. He's going to be a 750 to 1,000-yard receiver. He's going to have 6 to 8 touchdowns. And he is going to be an elite player at an elite position that is getting paid more than ever. And I think in a couple of years, this is actually going to look like a very good deal for the Cleveland Browns. And so you've got a team now that is locked in. Your running backs are locked in. Your top receiver's locked in. Your tight end is locked in. Your quarterback is locked in. That's a good place to be. Your nucleus is there. And for the Chief, I talked to him, I want to say Saturday, and obviously he's fired up about this. The Browns fired up about it. But I think he's ready to come in here. He really improved his blocking, and so now he's a guy who can be out there a lot. And so I think he's still growing into being an everything, all-around, 100% the guy type tight end, and I think he's going to get every opportunity to become that this year.
Yeah, and you hit on something that I think makes a lot of sense. I know a lot of people thought this was a lot of money now based on the production, and I think it's fair, but also realize that think about what this market will be a year from now, what the market will be 2 years from now. I think you're going to look back on this very favorably when you see what him being the man means and also where the tight end market's going to go in the next couple of years.
Yeah, he's only had more than 60 targets in a season once in his career, and that was in 2018. He caught 56 balls for 639 yards and 4 touchdowns. And so he actually was a very productive tight end. But then in 19 he got hurt, and the whole kind of whatever happened with, Freddie Kitchens happened, and then he had limited roles the last 2 seasons. But in those 2 seasons, I think he produced very well. We're talking about 74 targets, and he had 700 yards and 6 touchdowns. That's 10 yards a target. I know you like that. You're writing that down? What? And that's not in beyond. I meant that beyond whatever happened with this season. I meant that without having respect to the Chief.
Just the turn of phrase of it struck me funny.
With the Chief and Hollywood Higgins that season, as a matter of fact, in that 2019 season.
Well done. We look forward to the full Chief experience for many, many years to come. Just 25 after all, which is really, really great. All right, lots of fun on the program today. We'll go around the league a little bit later. Jadeveon Clowney, one-on-one with Z, coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Certainly a lot of bad advice out there about gambling, from secret methods to picking lottery numbers to betting big when you're on a roll. The myths can lose you money and get you in a lot of trouble. So before you wager, find out what's real and what isn't at keepitfunohio.com. Jadeveon Clowney back in the mix. Here's Z one-on-one.
Welcome back, brother. You're down.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back.
So when you're thinking about things this offseason, and I know last year, 9 sacks, this defense had a great run at the end of the year, some unfinished business, perhaps you could say. What made you decide to come back to the Cleveland Browns?
I just want to chase that Super Bowl. I think we got a shot at it. We had a great defense last year that went out and got some more key players on offense and some more on defense, and I just feel like we got a shot. And I wouldn't want to do it no better team than the one I just played with last year.
Why do you think you were able to have the success that you did in this defense last year with the 9 sacks, as we talked about, and then hopefully to be able to build upon that this year?
I feel like that was my first time really being in a traditional 4-3 and just really getting after the quarterback, and a great group of guys up front. It wasn't just me, individual work. It was a team effort, and front end did their job, and the back end was doing their job, and we just had a total team thing together out there on defense, and I just hope we continue to do that this year.
Yeah, you think about the back 7, they're all back for the most part, and then you've got Myles Garrett back, obviously, opposite you. Let's talk about Myles. Obviously, he was out there on the recruiting trail trying to get you back here. What was he saying to you, and what were the guys saying trying to make sure you got back here in the brown and orange?
He was really just like, before I left last year, was like, hey, you going to come back and mess with me? I say, yeah, we're going to have to make that run. We get a good thing on offense, man. You know what we can do out here together. So I say, let's see what we can do this. Let's run it back, and that's what we're doing, man. Try to run it back and go ahead and play better than we did last year.
Was it good to just get back here on the field and get back with the guys?
Oh, it felt great, man. I miss these guys. I told them I enjoy this sport, man. This is exciting to me to be out here kicking it with them. That's the most I get to talk to guys and just really just be around them and have a good time with them. So I'll be looking forward to that part.
A lot of familiar faces, as we talked about, but some new ones as well. What's kind of it like, getting back here? Every year is a new year in the NFL, but seeing this group, and does it feel any different? Does it feel any different than a year ago?
I definitely do. It's like I'm not walking in on getting to know guys. I already know them, and that's a better feeling than just coming into a locker room where I got to learn new guys and learning a new system. Walking into a locker room now that I know, and I know the system, is a much better feeling. Like, it's just that feeling, man. Like, you just always excited. Like, I'm excited to be around them. I already know who I'm dealing with. I know who I got. I know what we can do together. Just hoping we can just take that another step further and get where we need to get this season.
Yeah, it's the first time in a while for you, right? Yeah. Same coaching staff, every position room on the defense the same principal players back on defense, same head coach, all of that. That's got to be nice, right?
That's a great feeling. Like I said, I can play fast. I don't have to think that much. I know what's going on. I know who are around me. I know how they play on behind me. I can look behind me and say, oh, I know this guy. I've been playing with him for a year. Like, you got to develop that chemistry with players. And I think just being with them over a year and going to year 2, they know who I am. I kind of got a feeling of who they is. And I think it's going to work out a lot better this year than it did the year before.
Really, the only kind of maybe new faces will be in between you and Myles, right? And so what's it been like getting to know some of those guys? And I know we have a rather boisterous young fella in that room as well, our draft pick out of Oklahoma, Perion Winfrey.
Perion Winfrey, I think he's going to be a good player. I've been getting on him already. I told him, hey, you're going to be the biggest piece really to this defense. It all starts with the middle of the defense. Little do you know, they can talk about the ends all they want, but you really going to hold the defense together. It's like the glue to the defense, the D-tackle, and he got to play big for us this year. He know that. I think he coming to work every day right now. Since I've been seeing him, he been working well. He learning the playbook, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what he brings to the defense this year.
Continuity on defense, we've talked about that. Offense, some changes. New quarterback, Deshaun Watson. Amari Cooper is into the fold as well. Now those running backs are back, and we're going to get tight end David Njoku back as well. But what's it been like, just as you were observing, because there was a lot of chatter out there already today, even in the 7-on-7s, but observing that offense.
You know that's my boy, Deshaun, and I was happy about him coming here, and I told him if he come back, I was going to follow him. So when he came back here, I told him, hey, you got yourself another Cleveland Brown up there right now. They just get me up there. So I already know he can bring to the team. I played with him. He's a great player to have on your team, a great leader. He can make them plays out there on the field, and just looking forward to seeing what he's going to do out there. It's like you just lock in and just be excited about, can't wait to see what happens. You look forward to a big play happen, knowing he
back in 30.
Knowing that on defense, you're just like, hey, let's just go out there, do our job, rush that pass, and just get to that quarterback, because we're going to get plenty of opportunities this year with him at quarterback.
Did you try to lobby to be the only defensive guy going to the Bahamas?
Oh, man, nah. Man, I told y'all do y'all thing. Y'all need to bond together. We're going to do our thing. The D-line going to get together, do something. We're trying to work on that now.
Well, Jadeveon, it is great to see you. Sight for sore eyes. Welcome back to the Browns, and excited to see what you guys get to do here in the 2022 season.
All right, man. Glad to be back. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
This is a great place, man. He was bouncing around last week out here, feeling good, looking good. Going to be fun.
Yeah, and it was great to see him. And as he said, when Deshaun signed, he said, you got another one coming with you. You knew he wanted to come back, getting the quarterback in Deshaun Watson, somebody that he knew from together their time at Houston. He's fired up, and to play opposite Miles, I think he knows how important that is. And so, this was the number one priority of the offseason once we fixed the passing game, which we did by adding Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper. So the next thing was always sign Clowney. Clowney is back. Now you got the Chief locked up. So we're going to be, I think, really, when we get to this mandatory minicamp, I think you're going to see the team that's going to be out there, as we talked about with receiver, barring, somebody getting hurt or somebody really just failing to live up to whatever expectations there are. This is the squad that we're going to roll with.
Absolutely, yeah. And this was, you go all the way back to January, as you mentioned. This was 1A. Fix the passing game, sign Jadeveon Clowney. You've done it, and we're a couple weeks out. What are we, the 20? When's our date on minicamp, Gibby?
From our minicamp?
Yeah.
Minicamp is 14th, 15th.
Oh, wow,
16th.
just a couple weeks.
Couple weeks.
Yes.
That'll be fun. All right,
yeah.
So you have that to look forward to, which is very, very nice. We will go around the league coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. You know, the Bath Authority can give you that bathroom of your dreams. They can transform your current bathroom into a custom bath that'll feel like a spa. Let the Bath Authority make it a reality for you for a fraction of the cost of the competitors. If you give them a call right now, you get $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. That number is 216-220-8399 or go to thebathauthority.com. The Bath Authority is our area's premier bath and shower remodeler. Expert factory-trained installers. Largest selection of bath projects are all made in the U.S. Guys, you want to do a tub-to-shower conversion? We weren't sure how. Guess what? They know how. You get that spa-like feel in your bathroom. You can do it very easily with my friends at the Bath Authority. Superior Products, expert installers. Again, give them a call now at 216-220-8399 or go to thebathauthority.com. You get $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel when you do. As we go around the league here on the program on a Tuesday. This was interesting. Aaron Donald was at the basketball game in Miami. By the way, real quickly, did you guys think you'd ever see a day where a Celtic was wearing a Laker wristband? I understand Kobe is posthumous honoring.
Yes.
But it's still it was a bold move.
Yeah.
For a Celtic to wear a Laker.
And Tatum tweeted out like the Instagram, the picture of him like texting Kobe like, I got you. And
yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't know. You would not have seen that in the 80s.
No, you would not have.
Under any circumstances.
That would get a backlash even in Boston after you won.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Kobe would probably say, go to hell. Like if he's not doing it, he's not wearing a Celtic wristband in any game. I can't imagine that. So, but Aaron Donald was there. He actually also signed with the Donda.
Kanye West's.
Right, but it's like I don't know what it's for because it's not representation, right? It's just like gear.
It's for marketing, and they take care of players and their families after their careers. Or
okay. I saw a hoodie was $200. Like a black cotton hoodie was $200.
It's a little extreme.
Yeah, 8 to 12 weeks on delivery on that, by the way.
Oh.
Felt a little big baller brandy to me.
It does feel like the three
well,
Bs.
we know how that went.
Right.
Yeah.
This one would have significantly more money behind it and probably far more organized, or maybe not. I don't know. But it was 8 to 12 weeks. I was thinking in today's day and age, 8 to 12 weeks, by the time you get it, will it even be in?
No.
Will it fit you if you're buying it for your kid?
If you're buying a $200 hoodie for your kid, shame on you.
By the way, did you see?
Maybe it was the school that was playing you in lacrosse.
Well, it's highfalutin, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Trophies.
Throw a lot of money at things. A lot of hoodies, a lot of $200 hoodies at that school. Go ahead, Z.
Did you see our guy Chase Winovich was at the game 6?
I did.
With Big Poppy.
Was he with him or it felt like Poppy was sitting courtside, feet on the boards.
He was right by. He's in the picture. They're in the picture together.
Was he hanging with like
Bob Menery? Is who he was with.
Okay. Yeah, I did see that. And I could see how that would be fun, and he would still have a lot of connections there.
Yeah.
2 years there for Chase?
Yeah.
In New England?
He just feels like a very likable, popular guy. Like you
I think he's just a guy you like to have around.
Right.
I still am not used to him without the hair.
It's unreal.
It's hard for me to – when I saw that image going around, whenever Game 6 was, Friday night or whatever, I triple take before I realized it was him because I'm so used to him with the locks.
Yeah.
So used to that. So Aaron Donald said, come or go, we'll see. I'm not pressing anything. The retirement could be back on, the price, blah, blah, blah. Who knows? My guess is he plays.
So he says he's at peace with it if it doesn't work out. He's at peace with retiring if the contract situation doesn't work out. Now, he's also, from around the NFL today, he said winning a Super Bowl, you kind of get a little addicted to it. So intimating that obviously he would want to do it. But those are the two kind of conflicting things. He's at peace with moving on from football if his contract doesn't work out, but also winning a Super Bowl is addictive, and so he would like to do that again. So I think he's in a situation where he's hoping to get at age 31, get that one last payday. I mean, this is a guy who's been in the league for 8 years, 8 Pro Bowls, 7 first-team All-Pros, including 7 straight from 2015 through now. In fact, his first time that he was a first-team All-Pro, they were still playing in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
He has had, in this run, 11 sacks, 8 sacks, 11 sacks, 20 and a half led the league in 2018, 12 and a half, 13 and a half, 12 and a half. Just an absolute monster. He's been the Defensive Player of the Year 3 times. He's been the Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, obviously once, which is all you're eligible to be. He has never been outside of the top 5 in the Defensive Player of the Year voting since 2015.
He has done, I mean, all of that staggering. He's done what I thought was impossible to do, and that is change the conversation on the all-time team. Like, that's the toughest club you can break into. Like, that was known. It was, whoever was going to be on the defensive line, like, you don't break into that crowd. Like, it's Mean Joe Green, it's Reggie White, it's Randy, whoever it's going to be, all those guys that are all the first-team All-Pros. Well, he's on it. He's on the first-team All-NFL team. And in terms of recent guys, there's not a lot of guys who have broken through that.
No, and the hard part would be
Brady would obviously be the other one, but he's been playing for 20 years.
Right. Of guys that are currently in the league that would be on the best team to ever play? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, an ability to have the resume and the talent to break into the all-time NFL team.
Aaron Donald.
And Tom Brady.
But
Brady's 20-some years in, too. Like, that's the other thing. Like, Donald's career is relatively short, and he broke in where it felt like it was impossible to break in.
And I don't know that we would say that he actually has a chance to unseat a Mike Singletary, but Bobby Wagner would probably be in the discussion at least.
He would need more, though, for sure, but he would, like, I don't know. Who are your first-team all-time linebackers? Is that Singletary and
Ray Lewis?
Is it Butkus? Is it Ray Lewis? Is it
probably Singletary,
Ray Nitschke?
Lewis.
Like, what does that look like?
Luke
Lawrence
Kuechly
Taylor would be on it, but he would be
an edge.
An edge, like he's an outside linebacker, but he is a linebacker.
So this is this past season's All-Pro first team. Aaron Rodgers, not the greatest of all time. Jonathan Taylor, Mark Andrews, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel, Trent Williams, Tristan Wirfs, Joel Bitonio, Zach Martin, Jason Kelsey.
So let me real quickly. The another guy that's playing right now, because this popped in my head, that is in the conversation. Gronk is in the conversation, and we don't know if he's going to play this year. He would be in the conversation for a great tight end. Kelsey's going to be in that conversation.
Yeah. The game has changed so much. Like, who is the all-time tight end right now? Is it Kellen Winslow? Is it? I mean, he was sensational. Who is the all-time
Tony
tight end?
Gonzalez?
Gronk, Gonzalez. Yeah.
Antonio Gates?
Probably Gonzalez more than Gates is my gut, but I don't know.
Growing up, it was Largent.
Largent was a receiver.
He was a receiver. Ozzie.
Yeah,
all right.
Ozzie would be on there. Like on the All
Tony Gonzalez, 14-time Pro Bowl, 6-time All-Pro. Antonio Gates, 3-time All-Pro, 8-time Pro Bowl. So Gonzalez over him.
So it'd probably be Gronk as your best. So Gronk and Kelsey could do it. All right. So I have the All NFL 100.
Gronk,
which is
4-time All-Pro.
This was a couple of years ago in terms of, and obviously this won't be complete because it's going to be, they're not going to have, they're going to have too many at each position.
I think it's going to be Gonzalez.
But at tight end right now, so their tight ends right on this team. There are 5 of them: Ditka, Tony Gonzalez, Rob Gronkowski, John Mackey, and Kellen Winslow. Those are the 5 on the team. So Winslow was like the first receiver tight end.
Yep.
Primarily was receiver. John Mackey was a beast for sure. I'm guessing
3-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowl for Kellen Winslow.
For what's Mackey got?
Let's pull him up right now. Gonzalez is at 6, is well in the lead at this point.
Yeah,
because
that's always
was pretty solid as a tight end too.
Well, Ditka's record, remember, held for so long, which was pretty crazy. Yeah.
John Mackey. John Mackey, 3-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler. I mean, Gonzalez is the dominant one.
Ditka's 5-time. He's 2-time first team, 3-time second team All-Pro for Ditka. The playing careers were so much shorter. Yeah, Gonzalez is it then right now.
6
He's
it.
Teams. Yeah, very different game, acknowledging that. But yeah, just for curiosity's sake, if you do defensive tackle,
I was going to say on the defense this past season, All-Pro, your edge rushers were T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Interior linemen Aaron Donald, Cameron Hayward. Linebackers were Micah Parsons, Darius Leonard, Devondre Campbell. Cornerbacks Trevon Diggs, Jalen Ramsey. Safeties Kevin Byard and Jordan Poyer.
So this is why I think This is why I think what Donald is doing is so impressive, because what we are saying is when you did the tight ends, hang with me for a second. Follow me on this.
Yep.
When you did the tight ends, you named a lot of contemporary players that were possibilities.
Yep.
In fact, it was mostly contemporary players.
Yep.
These are the all-time. This is the NFL 100 defensive tackles. Okay, there's 7 of them. Buck Buchanan, Mean Joe Green,
I had Mean Joe Green written
Bob
down.
Lilly, Randy White, who
Randy
I
White
mentioned,
I have written down.
Merlin Olsen, Alan Page, and John Randall.
John Randall.
So the most recent is John Randall, who finished in 2003.
And it was a 6-time, if I'm not mistaken, when we looked this
We
up.
stumbled upon that all-pro number,
6-time
and we were
first-team
blown
All-Pro,
away.
John
For
Randall.
Randall. Yeah. But that's 03. So there hasn't been anybody break into that type of club
20 years.
in a long time.
So here's the thing that's odd to me is they don't consider – where do they consider Reggie White?
D-end, because he was a 4-3 D-end.
I feel like on an all-pro team that you'd want him on the inside.
You would. So in that category, D-end, Doug Atkins, Bill Hewitt, who played long time ago. Deacon Jones would be one you'd know. Gino Marchetti, Leroy Selman, Bruce Smith, and Reggie White are
Bruce
the D-ends.
Bruce Smith's resume is pretty good.
Yeah, so Smith is the most recent of those. He finished in 03
What do we think
at defensive end.
in Pro Football References, of course? 'Cause
The
he wants to
linebacker
be
play
looking.
is absolutely ridiculous. Bednarik, Bobby Bell, Derek Brooks made it.
Derek
Dick
Brooks.
Butkus, Jack Ham, Ted Hendricks, Jack Lambert, Willie Lanier, Ray Lewis, Joe Schmidt, Junior Seau, and Lawrence Taylor are the linebackers on it. So that's a tough list to crack right there. But that's what makes Donald's thing so tough is that it's really there aren't any contemporaries who are going to break in.
So J.J. Watt would
Right.
be the only other person that I was thinking of, and I'm trying to look
He
at
would be
what
a D end,
his-
wouldn't he be a D end?
Yeah, but a 3-4 D end is.
I agree
which
with you.
Is
I'm
a
just
defensive
saying, like-
tackle. Aaron Donald's listed as a right end all the time because he plays in a 3-4. J.J. Watt 5 times first team All Pro, 3 times Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't make it. Really, that he didn't make it based on that.
So
It's a hell of
Donald,
a
we
burst.
said, is seven times first team and 3 times. Same, also 3 times Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
That's heady stuff.
I think it's possible, and this happens all the time in sports. I bring it up about the Steelers a lot. We overly romanticize the past sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
And, the notion that basically everybody on the Steelers teams in the 70s was an all-pro or a Hall of Famer, it's just not true. There's no way that it was.
Of course.
But that's kind of the way that it's treated, that their whole roster was an all-pro.
Well, yeah, and they got at this year's Hall of Fame. They got another guy from those teams in the Hall of Fame this year.
Right. Yeah, they're constantly in the mix. Yeah. Boy, see, yeah, they have 2. I mean, Mel Blount is on it too. Like on the NFL 100 team, they've got Mean Joe Green,
Mel Blount
Jack
is good.
Ham. He is, for sure. I mean, they all are, but some of it's mythology, right?
Sure.
Ham, Lambert, Mean Joe Green, Mel Blount are all on the NFL 100 team.
Will the
Just on
Patriots
the
ever get to
defense.
that point?
No, and that's a great point out of you because it's really
Never.
just only going to be Brady and Gronk. And Gronk is at the end. It's really just going to be Brady and Gronk. They'll never have that type of who's going to be? I mean, they got Ronnie Harrison got in, but he was as much a Charger as he was a Patriot, in terms of getting in the
Vinatieri.
Hall. But so much Colts.
Right, but I mean, he made the initial
Sure.
picks for them.
Yeah, Vinatieri will be a Hall of Famer for sure. It's a tough crowd to break into, though, man.
How about? I'm trying to look up Reggie White right now. Of course, the internet's so not speedy. But yeah, that crack into the defensive line.
That's
all
what I'm
time
saying. That's why it's impossible, man.
Is nuts. Well, J.J. Watt, I feel like should be. So Reggie White is an 8-time All-Pro and a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. So he's got the most All-Pros, 2 Defensive Player of the Years. J.J. Watt's 3 Defensive Players of the Year is pretty impressive.
So, like Leroy Selman, who's on that team, was a 3-time first-team All-Pro, 1-time Defensive Player of the Year. But he played again. It's actually amazing because he played for the Bucs, and they were just dreadful when he played there. I think you'd be surprised. I bet Bruce Smith has more first-team All-Pros than I think that he does.
I think he's got 6 at a minimum.
He's got 8.
Yeah.
He's an 8-time first-team All-Pro. He made 10 All-Pro teams, twice second team, 8 first team, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year.
He's on.
Yeah,
he's one of the
there.
ends.
He's one of the ends. Yep, he's one of the ends for sure.
And then you'd probably treat Lawrence Taylor as a sub-package pass rusher that would come in.
He's just on the field.
somewhere.
Yeah. He's the biggest. He's one of those guys that, to me, just ingrained in my head of watching him play that he was just unstoppable.
He was, and so was Derek Thomas.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good job. Did you see this over the weekend? Tommy Pham slapping Jock Peterson?
Oh, boy, did I. Well, I consumed every bit of that content as a fantasy football guy.
What is the worst, most egregious thing you've ever seen done over fantasy football discrepancy? First of all, how are you not paying what you're due? Do I have the full story on this?
I don't know, but then Pham dropped out of the league a couple of weeks later, which you can't do. You can't drop out of the league in the middle of the season.
So he dropped out of the league in the middle of the season, and then he slapped him.
Everything. Slapped
and then
him.
Peterson brought the receipts
Yeah.
and showed everybody.
Yep.
And he said something like, what, Jock, you don't know me well enough to talk to me like
to
that?
make a joke,
something?
he sent a gift that was making fun of the Padres, who were struggling, even though they were very talented.
Yeah.
And Pham was on the Padres, and he got, I guess, very upset about that.
And then to slap a man.
Slapped a man, a grown man, in the outfield.
Strange.
Is a very stunning thing.
By the way, the only maybe relevant thing of baseball this weekend.
I honestly feel like I don't know that I've ever heard less talk of that sport than currently in my life. It does not cross my radar. There wasn't anybody talking about it this weekend as I was out and about at the various things with family, friends, activities. I didn't hear anybody say, hey, put on this, put on the nothing.
And
Zero.
Jose Ramirez is having a tremendous start to the season. He's great.
Right.
But it doesn't feel like it resonates. I mean, it's not America's past. I mean, it's past. Emphasis on the past in the pastime. Little NFL news, by the way. Former Bears defensive tackle Akeem Hicks, who is probably the best defensive tackle left on the market, reached an agreement today on a 1-year deal worth up to $10 million with the Bucks. And the Bucks were talking about bringing back Ndamukong Suh. The Raiders apparently have had a lot of interest in Ndamukong Suh, and according to recent reporting, the Browns are not pursuing Ndamukong Suh at this time.
Pulled back on that at this time. But who knows?
Who knows?
We were also out of Deshaun Watson at one point.
That's what they said. And yet. Tickets for all Cleveland Browns home games are on sale right now. For more information, visit clevelandbrowns.com. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Rumpke Waste Recycling, family owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer or as an employee, you'll become part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. Gibby, were you watching that show, We Own This City? Did you watch that?
I have not.
Have you started it?
No.
And you haven't seen it either?
No, we just started Stranger Things, and 2 episodes into season 4, and I am loving it.
I haven't even started that one yet.
Loving it. It's dark. They have upped it because the kids are older now, so it's like
Getting into it?
it's legit.
I feel like
We Own
First
the
of all, I
City is
can't
your
believe-
Baltimore show?
yeah, it's the guys who did The Wire.
Yeah.
It's a 6-episode arc.
Amazing.
I just can't believe it's based on a true story. So it ended last night, and I spent like 90 minutes reading about what happened. And I mean, I'm not ruining it by any of it, but they were very loyal to what happened.
To the facts.
And the facts are stupefying. Crazy. I couldn't recommend it enough. I can't
Can you
believe
give me
it's
a-
a
Is that
reality.
a
Can you
Netflix?
give
Is
us
that
a
a
basic
No,
Hulu?
it's HBO.
Oh, it's HBO.
Can you give us a basic
Well,
premise?
it's coming down to The Wire, so it's the militarization of the police force, the war on drugs, everything that comes into it, and in this instance, like just incredibly crooked cops, but also crooked cops that the system liked because they gave them stats. So it was just chasing a tail, and it went on for 20 years. And the devastation is stunning. The fraud is stunning.
Who stars in it?
Barenthal, and he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable in it. Just crushes it.
That's pretty awesome that they stuck to the facts.
Oh, they
'Cause
didn't
there's always
waver.
a little.
No.
There's always a little. We're
No,
gonna go into
I'm like,
that.
well, there's no way that's no. Oh, and in fact, sometimes large chunks of the dialogue were ripped from testimony.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and John Barenthal was. It's probably as good a performance as I've seen in 15 years on television.
And it was just 6 episodes.
6 episodes.
Hour long.
Yeah, and I think the reason they did that was, like, I don't think they wanted to romanticize or make you feel like he was some sort of hero because he's so magnetic in the role.
Yeah.
But I don't think they wanted to like glamorize it because of, the acts. But I couldn't recommend it highly enough.
Will we start seeing more of that type of stuff where it's short series as opposed to
Yeah, we've seen that with
the
like
12
Mare of
or
Easttown was
14
like that.
episodes a season type
Yeah,
deal.
I think it's easier.
The mini series is what it used to be called.
The only thing is like you got to really hit on it.
Yeah.
I mean, this show's got a lot of buzz because the Wire people, but I could also see how it would have been missed if it didn't have that. I could see how that's possible. But it's awesome. Absolutely stunning stuff. Hell of an achievement.
I'm in.
Yeah. If you like The Wire, if you like the true crime
Absolutely.
stuff, then you'll be big fans of it because they absolutely crushed it. All right, this is from CBS Sports.
I printed it for you.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
here it is.
Yeah, I know how much you love
Landscape.
pop-ups.
It's
Landscape.
funny. I was just
right there.
getting to
I
the
got you. Don't worry about
CBS.
it. Same with the next segment. I printed that for you, too.
Oh, no, this one isn't in landscape.
I was
How
just
about that?
getting to the. I was just going to go look at it myself at CBSSports.com.
He did print it out in reverse,
It is. It's full. It's put down. Yeah, that is true. It is an opposite.
but we'll take
So
it.
the idea here is it's quarterback, receiver, running back combination.
Yeah, it's the ranking of the triplets, their annual. They rank the best trio. So it's
Who
QB,
stole our
running back,
idea?
wide receiver / tight end.
Starting 5. Remember we did that a couple years ago. Who stole that from us?
Was it Bucky Brooks?
I think it was Bucky Brooks. That's the first name that came to my mind.
First name popped in my mind.
Was Bucky Brooks
Yeah.
stole it from us. But we said at the time when we had healthy Jarvis, healthy Odell, Nick Chubb, Kareem, and Baker,
Yeah.
name a better 5.
Yeah, it came from somewhere on NFL.com.
Yeah,
I
one of
remember
those
that.
guys did it. I
Yeah.
can't remember which one did it. Might have been Weish. Because Weish, I know we hit Weish with it. I think it was Weish. Because we asked him about it.
He
And
doesn't
he
write-
really,
I feel like it came up then in like a Bucky column.
it definitely went to column.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely went to column. Maybe we ran it by both of them,
Yeah.
and Bucky took it. I remember running it by Weish, and he was like, "Oh, that's pretty good." All right, so the idea here is best triplet: quarterback, running back, and receiver.
So I guess they had already done like 17 through 32. So they did the top
Okay.
16, the ones that matter.
All right, let's just start with this. Do you have a problem with the Chargers being one with Herbert, Eckler, and Allen?
kind of.
I love the Chargers a lot.
I mean,
I
do.
get it, but Keenan Allen doesn't. He's great, but he's not a scare you. Like I think the Bengals.
Well, Burrow is more accomplished than Herbert.
Yeah.
Mixon and Eckler feel like a wash, and Jamar to me is more electric than
better.
Allen.
Yes.
So I would have the Bengals better. If we're doing higher or lower, better or worse. I think the Bengals threesome is better. I mean, I'm not. The only wink link with the Kansas City is just running back a little bit.
So
I think the Bucks are too low.
So the numbers next to those teams, the first number in parentheses is the team's average ranking based on the votes of their staff and editors at CBSSports.com. The other two numbers are how high someone had them and how low someone had
so
them.
only the Bengals or Chargers even receive first place votes. I think Austin Eckler is very, very, very good, and Keenan Allen is very solid. In terms of, does he scare you? No, but I think you could have 3 All-Pros right there. Like, I get that aspect of it.
Okay, well,
I think the Vikings are way too low, even though I'm not necessarily a Kirk Cousins guy, but Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson is
so they have them 12.
12.
Jefferson and Cook. I don't understand. So the highest is an 8?
That anybody voted for him, right?
With those two?
Because that's a knock. That's a knock.
I
on
understand.
Cousins.
I mean, I think ours is criminally low too. The highest
Well, yeah.
anybody voted us is an 8, with Watson, Chubb, and Cooper. I mean, that's impossible.
Yeah. Baltimore feels high to me too.
Dallas feels high to me. That's a lot of Zeke Elliott love for a guy who hasn't looked like Zeke Elliott in a long time.
No. I mean, the Packers, the fact that their top receiver right now is Alan Lazard is wild. That's a wild situation.
The Rams, well, Akers is a little, yeah.
Yeah, but Akers is
Kupp
good
and
when he's
Stafford
healthy. Kupp just won the Triple Crown.
Right. That seems pretty important. The Chiefs have the best quarterback in the league, I think, in most people's eyes, and they have the best tight end. They have one of the best weapons in the league, and they're 4th.
Yes.
I have a feeling that and sometimes it's too soon, sometimes it hits. And I like them a lot, too. I just think that there's a lot going the Chargers' way from a pub standpoint going into this season.
They are that good on paper.
No, I know. I'm
right.
not attacking. I'm just saying
it's a lot of hype.
they are not a playoff team a year ago.
No.
And there is a lot of juice around. It kind of feels how we felt a couple of years ago. I think that their high end is because of Herbert and as special as he is. I mean, everybody
they
kind of
improved the line.
it.
I think it's because you had Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson.
He's not Mack from 5 years ago.
No, but
like
J.C. Jackson's led the league in interceptions.
Yeah,
for the last 4 years, like one of the best
I get
quarters
it.
in the league.
I like them. I just think they're leapfrogging a lot of teams that are more accomplished by a pretty wide margin. And maybe they get there this year. I mean, the idea that sometimes they're higher than the Bills on things. I don't know. I think Cincinnati probably deserves a little more respect than they're getting, and they're second on this particular list.
Agreed.
But you have the Super Bowl champions on this at 6. I don't know. It seems like they're getting a lot, and I like them. I do like them. I just think it's a lot.
I'm surprised, and maybe I missed it. The Colts at 15 feels... Is that low? I mean, Jonathan Taylor's great. Matt Ryan is solid, and I think Michael Pittman's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Yeah, but who are you putting them up in front of?
And where's, like... Who would I put them in front of?
I'd have them ahead of Philly.
Philly, for sure.
Well, and they are.
Philly.
Oh, yeah, they are. I'm sorry.
They
This
are.
is going the other way. Okay.
So you'd have them ahead of the Ravens, wouldn't you?
Yes. I think the Ravens are way overrated.
Yeah, they're 8 on this.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Dobbins coming off an injury. Lamar coming off an injury. They got the right guy in Denver for you at tailback. Javonte Williams, your guy.
Love that. Free Javonte.
But other than that, I don't know how much further up you can move them.
I guess that's true.
I mean, they're better than Dallas. Why is Dallas 7?
CeeDee Lamb.
Dak Prescott's.
Dak.
But Zeke is not a top.
I bet if you put Tony Pollard in there, guy averages 5.5 yards a carry. Then maybe they are better.
I mean, where would you
That's
guys
what it even
put?
says right here.
That's the first sentence
If
in
we
the Cowboys
swapped out
thing.
Elliott for Pollard, who's been more efficient and more explosive than Elliott in each of his first 3 NFL seasons, the Cowboys might rank higher than this.
Where would you guys rank Dak Prescott at quarterback in the NFL right now?
somewhere in the top 12.
Is Dak Prescott better or worse than Derek Carr?
I think
he's better.
Slightly better.
Okay. Better or worse than Lamar?
I would rather have him.
Better or worse than Russell?
Probably worse.
Better or worse than Deshaun?
Worse.
I mean, these are just the guys around there. You'd
Yeah.
obviously have him worse than Rodgers, too. Better or worse than Cousins? Better.
Better.
Yeah. Better or worse than Kyler?
I'd rather have him over Kyler.
I think personality makes him better.
So then by that, then he's probably top 8.
He might be.
You're going to have him behind Herbert, Burrow, Allen, Mahomes, Brady, Stafford, Wilson, Watson, Rodgers. What's that put him? 10th?
10th.
That's about right.
Feels right.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for I'm waiting for a Trevor Lawrence explosion. Like, wouldn't it be stunning if that 1 year really just ruined him? I mean, he was an Andrew Luck sure thing, but it was
No, I think
close.
he was Andrew Luck. Sure. I think he was. I think he was.
Okay.
I think he was even. Yes, he was that. He was known as a freshman in college. He's going number 1 overall. No, I don't think you're over. No, I think he was that type of sure thing. I'll tell you what. Those 2 kids that came out in that class, Lawrence and Fields, could not have gone to worse situations. Both of them.
Lawrence has a chance now.
Lawrence has a chance. Fields has no chance.
Doesn't
Honestly,
feel
like if the Bears had any sense, they would trade him right now because they're not going to. While he still has some value, because they're going to run him into the ground. He was over the weekend. I heard him say, so he said, we don't have Odell Beckham. We don't have some other receiver. He named 2 receivers. One of them was Odell. But we have a bunch of guys. If we do things right, I think we can have success. And I thought, my God.
That's tough. That's a tough
You
scenario.
poor kid.
Yeah.
You poor kid, Justin. But, yeah, Lawrence can salvage it because they'd still have some weapons there. And if Etienne comes back, they got Robinson, competent coaching. It's salvageable. It's a brutal spot, though. Absolutely brutal. I would have had the Bengals number 1 on this.
Same.
Would the Chargers have been number 2, or would you have dropped them? How far would you have taken the Chargers?
I would have had them like 6.
Not far.
Not too far. Not like. I think we're too low. I mean, ours is stupid.
Yeah.
How the hell are we? How are we 11?
I don't
I think
understand
Watson's
how it
a
says
top 5
good,
quarterback.
maybe not
I
great.
think that
we're in that category of good, maybe not great.
Watson is a top 5 quarterback in this league. Nick Chubb, I think, is a top 2 running back in this league.
fair.
Amari Cooper's a top 12, 15 receiver.
Right, he's not a Jamar Chase, a
No,
Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs.
Is Amari Cooper as good a receiver as Joe Mixon is a running back? Or slightly less? I don't know.
Slightly less, probably.
Okay. But Nick Chubb, we would agree, is similar
Better.
to Jamar Chase,
Yes.
right? Both elite.
Yeah.
And Deshaun is similar to Burrow. Burrow's
Yes.
more accomplished.
I think that's fair.
But yeah,
I look at some of these, like Kansas City at 4, I get it. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. Edwards-Helaire,
That's the thing. They used a first-round pick on him. Oh, boy.
they thought he was perfect.
yeah.
I mean, we all did.
We
When
all
they
did.
drafted him, we thought perfect. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, are you
Who was it that they were comparing him to? I remember. Was it Brian Mitchell?
Who used to
Or
play
did-
like
didn't
the
you-
kick returner?
Or not Brian Mitchell. Who's the guy I'm thinking of? That who's your buddy?
Brian Westbrook.
Westbrook.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, B. West.
There was a lot of that. Yeah.
Not.
Has not
B.
been.
West is.
No, dude. Yeah, but he wasn't. Yeah. I mean, the Bills on this 3 with Allen and Diggs, and Singletary was better last year as it went along.
That's what I just feel like there's a little bit of a weakness in each one of those. You know, Edwards-Helaire,
Except for
Chiefs.
Cincinnati. And honestly,
Singletary played
I mean,
really
top to
well
bottom,
for them, but
I think the 3 that are most consistently good to great on all 3 are us, the Bengals, and the Chargers.
yeah, I
Like
mean,
we don't
can't-
have a guy that's like, oh, he's got a lit. There's nothing like that on ours. There's nothing like that on the Bengals, and even the Chargers there isn't.
Yeah,
Herbert's going to
like-
be great. Is great. Eckler's really, really good. Allen's really, really good.
Yeah,
The Bucks are like us too, I think.
Yeah, that's fine. Because Fournette,
And Amari, you could say, are
I feel like Amari's a little better receiver than Fournette as a running back, but it's in the
fair. But
vicinity.
Fournette's been very good for them down
Yes.
the stretch. Yeah.
I just like Akers at running back didn't look like himself when he came back. I get he's
No, he
coming back
wasn't,
from an
yeah.
Achilles, but I mean Stafford and Kupp basically hold down that ranking at number 6. But
I mean, if you put any of the quarterbacks that we mentioned, a Herbert, a Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, Watson, Brady, Stafford, Dak, even Russell Wilson on the Vikings with Cook and Jefferson,
then they're
they'd
one.
be number one.
Yeah. I want to know what reporter at CBSSports.com gave the Ravens a top 5 vote with that 3.
I don't get it. Andrews was first team All-Pro last year. Andrews
he's
is
very,
awesome.
very good. But J.K.
But J.K.
could be,
Dobbins,
but he was hurt.
Who knows?
Like,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
That's hard to see. All right, good job. Coming up next, Mel Kiper Jr. with his first big board for 2023. It is out. We get to that coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Elk and Elk Serious Lawyers, serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK in Ohio for a free case review. Elk and Elk's a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Mel Kiper Jr. with his early look. The first big board, I do believe, of the 2023 NFL draft. Of course, we will not have a first-round pick in this draft. Remember, Mel, and this is how he prefers to do it, not necessarily landscape print, but what he does prefer is for a positionless non-mock.
Yep.
He wants these are the 25 best players in order.
And then he ranked the positions at the end.
Yeah. So that's how he likes to do it. He does not want to try to get in the head And then finally, it was about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe even longer now, ESPN made him do mock drafts. But for the longest time, this was Kiper's. It was big board. That's what he did.
Yep.
So he's got Will Anderson, the defensive end out of Alabama, number 1. Will Anderson, he's light, but he is probably, in terms of the way he's regarding college football, the way like a Chase Young or a Bosa was, like Miles, like a sure thing.
Sure thing.
He's the guy who wore, I think, 30 or 31 for Alabama and was the best player on the field in the national championship game. Bryce Young, the quarterback out of Bama, number 2. C.J. Stroud, your Ohio State Buckeyes, is number 3 on that list. These will be inverted by the time the draft happens. So says me.
6 foot 194 for Bryce Young, so not huge, but not too small. I would have
slight though, Z.
Yeah,
it's not just the height. He's
194.
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud 6'3", 215. I would not have had that Bryce Young at Alabama, and I realize all the Alabama receivers, Mechie and Jamison Williams, who got drafted despite their injuries, that he threw for 4,872 yards, 47 touchdowns, and 7 picks. I would not have had that.
Saban, after Johnny beat him, throwing it and running it and all that, he said, "Well, we got to do that. We can't keep with big running backs and quarterbacks who are AJ McCarron types, those type of guys who are okay. We got to go get 5-star quarterbacks, and we got to be able to throw it." And they got Tua, and they got Young. Young was the number 1 quarterback in the country coming out. So
why did they not want to have 5-star quarterbacks before that? I don't get it.
I don't know that they didn't want to. Like, they did recruit them, but it wasn't. They would go get 3 5-star running backs, and they would just bludgeon you. And
they had Craig McElroy.
Oh yeah, they had a bunch of.
But I feel like
they won a national. Oh my God, I forget. Jacob Coker won a national championship for them. Was a completely average. It was almost like it didn't matter. It was, we're so good on defense, and we're going to run the ball and bludgeon you, and we're going to have Julio Jones, Amari Cooper, and that's going to be enough, and they'll make some plays. But it wasn't until Johnny got them that they flipped their philosophy, went to a pass heavy. So they've been doing this for a couple of years. What Bryce, and then Bryce is just the best combination of quarterback to play in that system and all the receiving talent that they've had the last couple of years. So yeah, he spun it all over the place. You will notice though, he had 106 more attempts than CJ and about 400 yards passing. Some of that is he played an extra game, but that's part of the statistical accumulation there as well. I think CJ will pass him by the time it's done. 6'3", 215 is just better than 6 foot 194.
Yep.
So Jackson Smith-Njigba is 5th on this list, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. I think that's the one that, as surprised as you are by the Bryce Young numbers, my hunch is most people who didn't pay attention would be surprised to know that Jackson Smith-Njigba caught 95 passes for 1,606 yards in a receiving corps that had 2 first-round picks.
And how many did Wilson and Olave have?
They both were over 1,000.
But he led the team actually.
Yeah. Well, he had 300 in the Rose Bowl.
Right. The last
so
game.
that helps.
Sure.
And they didn't used to keep those things. In terms of guys you'll know, I mean, these are all the usual suspects. Eli Ricks out of Alabama is a 5-star kid. Keyshawn Butte out of LSU. Notre Dame at the tight end. Bijan Robinson.
I'm excited about that guy.
At 10. He is a guy that, was a 5-star, all of those things, and has shown flashes. I would think, I'd be surprised if he's that high by the time we're done.
Yeah.
Tyler Van Dyke, that's a little projection, I think, from the great Mr. Kiper. Anthony Richardson at 13 is outrageous. That's outrageous. Wildly inconsistent quarterback at Florida. Wildly.
He said it's all about potential. 6'4", 236. I've heard he had a great spring.
Yeah, that's a lot of projecting.
Dual threat.
But I'm going to tell you something. There's a decent chance that Anthony Richardson doesn't even quarterback Florida this year. Because they got
be a top.
No, they got the 4-star quarterback from Florida State, Jack Miller, transferred there, or out of Ohio State, transferred to Florida.
Where did the other kid from Ohio State go?
Ewers went to Texas,
and he'll start there.
He may. I don't know. There's a quarterback competition down there between him and somebody else.
Wasn't
if
he like
you got
the
2 or 3?
top
You don't
prospect?
have one.
See, this is my point. It was hype out of control. Remember, he's a perfect prospect.
I'll tell you who was the top
He was
prospect.
the perfect prospect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And was 4th on the depth chart at Ohio State and now in a quarterback duel at Texas. So how perfect was he?
But part of him being 4th was because he came out early.
It was also because he had a very difficult time learning the offense and could not pick it up. And he reclassified. He should have been a high school senior last year.
Yeah, right.
All of those
to
things.
get the NIL or
Anthony Richardson's got no chance. I think Jack Miller beats him out there, but I could be wrong. We'll see. Let me think. Anybody else interesting here? Jordan Addison's the kid who was at Pitt, developed at Pitt, then transferred to USC. There's talk about a $3 million bag on that one.
Wasn't he like the top? He had 17 touchdowns last year, and he
won the Biletnikoff Award. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's not even the top. I think he's the third receiver. They have
Ohio
State guy and
the
LSU
Ohio
guy.
State guys canceled each other out.
Yeah.
Probably should have been Jamison Williams. Probably should have won the Biletnikoff.
Yep.
Quite honestly, he was a really good player. He was Pickett's #1 target at Pitt last year, and now he transfers to USC. Noah Sewell is Penei Sewell's younger brother, so he's there, the linebacker. Will Levis out of Kentucky started at Penn State. Penn State, for as long as I've covered Penn State, has been trying to get the guy at quarterback, and they had Will Levis there, and they picked Sean Clifford over him. And Will Levis is on this list, and guess what? Sean Clifford is not. Nor is he. My guess he's not even on Kiper's positional rankings. No, he's not. But Levis is. So it appears that you blew that boy. Let me see on the top 10s. Is there anybody that jumps out that could be maybe too low, too high? I don't see anybody too much.
I got to feel like these Alabama guys, Tyler Harrell and Jermaine Burton, are going to get an opportunity to put up some pretty ridiculous numbers.
The receivers?
Yeah.
And they're huge. Of course, they're huge recruits. There will be Rakeem Jarrett's a 5-star kid, the kid at Maryland. He was he's a big kid, 6'3", 6'4".
Why do you go to Maryland?
Because Talia Tagovailoa is there, and Mike Loxley was on the Alabama staff and is an unbelievable recruiter, and he sold him on it. He sold him on Maryland. But he could have gone anywhere. Could have absolutely gone anywhere.
I feel like if you're a receiver, you want to go to Ohio State.
By the way,
play for Brian Hartline.
Isn't today the start of SEC summer meetings? Not media week.
It's not even media week. It's just it's their spring meeting.
Yeah.
Apparently they
it's being covered.
They walked by each other in the hall. Yeah, apparently.
It's being covered like it's the biggest deal in the history of the world.
I mean, I've got a copy of the seating chart.
I mean, that's where we're at. Like, it's just that league is crushed. It's professional wrestling. Really is.
Here's the thing. We've been talking about it, Saban and Jimbo and Lane Kiffin and everything. Totally forget that, by the way, there's another big new addition to the SEC. Brian Kelly.
Oh, God. That clown.
And his Southern twang that came out of nowhere.
Gracious.
Is that LSU?
Family. Me and my family.
I mean,
from Boston.
What is going on in that room right now?
Oh, my God. It's a circus. It's an absolute circus. That's what it is. It's an absolute circus. I'll tell you this. One you
and
can take
Leach
from
is
this.
there.
Oh, and Kiffin.
Yeah. Leach and Kiffin are sitting next to each other on the seating chart.
Yeah, I mean, Leach and Kiffin are there. Yeah, no, it's an absolute circus. The what was it? I just had something on the tip of my tongue. Oh, here's how I would sum up 2023 versus this draft's going to have a lot to it because of the two quarterbacks that are going to be at the top. So this one will have a lot of juice. You'll be following this all year in terms of who's going to end up with one of these guys, which is something we didn't have last year just because the quarterbacks weren't great. Drafts are made typically by quarterbacks, and this will be a good quarterback draft. All right, coming up next on the program. Read. Oh, around the sports world. A lot of fun to get. I couldn't get it to come down.
It's all good.
That's
all right.
We'll
talk a little Memorial. It's Memorial Week.
It is. Yeah. And I think what could be unfortunately for the friends down there, a negative trend that more and more of what you're going to get down there this week to continue. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Please. You're thinking about upgrading your enterprise operating system, but you can't afford the downtime and disruption that goes with a major overhaul. Beau here for my friends at EOX Vantage, and I know someone who can take care of your problems. Talking about EOX Vantage. They're data scientists, also business operations experts. Your EOX Vantage team does not take a rip-and-replace approach to improving your operating systems. Instead, they help you build onto what you already have so you make the best use of your investments, both old and new. So if you're fearing your employees will stress out over your new systems, EOX Vantage works to ensure your people can easily adapt to their new workflows at a comfortable pace. You can start out by making easily manageable changes and add more when the time is right. Read how other business owners have overhauled their systems without overwhelming their people at eoxvantage.com. As we go, what had your attention most over the weekend? You had everything. You had all the racing. You had the Monaco. You had the Indy. My guess is probably not Coca-Cola 600 since you watched the NBA.
Brilo.
The Brilo happened. You had the Bry, rather.
The Bry, that's right.
You had the Champions League final, Liverpool and Real Madrid.
Pretty good match.
Liverpool dominated, but Madrid wins because that's what they do. I watched a little. I enjoyed the college lacrosse.
The only thing I watched any of was the Celtics Heat Game 7.
Yeah,
from a sports standpoint, and golf was on in the background at various.
Where were
points.
they? Where was golf this weekend?
Is it the Byron Nelson?
I feel like that sounds right.
Is it Colonial? They go Colonial Muirfield back to back.
No. Hold on.
Jeez.
Yeah, Colonial.
Huh. I mean, there was a time when that was
a big.
It was a big tourney. The Memorial Tournament is this weekend down in Dublin at Muirfield Village. This is one of the really cool things at its peak, at its absolute apex. It was one of the coolest things, and I would say the apex of this tournament was Tiger Woods winning it every year. That was the apex of this tournament. Is that this and the Arnold Palmer and Firestone? He won. If he was in it, he won it. It felt like, for a 10-year period, he won them all. Felt like he won them all 5 or 6 times. And so that was the apex of the tournament. Was that? That's when you would get, of the top 10 players in the world, you would get 10. You'd get them all. They would all come. Yeah. It was set up perfectly on the calendar. It was 2 weeks before the Open, U.S. Open. So So you would go to Memorial, pay homage to Jack, play a beast course. It's got to be the toughest golf course in Ohio. Has to be. I don't know any that could match it that I've seen or played. Can't imagine.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a bigger challenge in golf than the one at Muirfield Village. True championship course 2 weeks before the U.S. Open, and Tiger loved Jack and loved to pay homage, and so everyone would come. Phil would come every year even though he hated the course and never played well. He never played well at Memorial. Hated it. Didn't fit his eye. I don't know why, but it didn't, and he would go and he would play it. So this year, though, this has got to be the first year, I don't even know when, that neither Tiger nor Phil is in it.
Yeah.
You got to go back 20 years probably to find no Tiger, no Phil. There's no Justin Thomas. There's no Brooks Koepka. There's no Dustin Johnson. There is the threat that this LIV tournament announcement, which was supposed to come Friday, didn't. It didn't come Friday. So there's talk that it could come at some point this week because they're upset about Jack saying, hey, they offered me more money to do that job. So they could try to usurp him. Although I can't imagine who would be on that list that would get more attention.
Right.
Because they're next week in London, I believe. Is that LIV tournament?
So the week before the U.S. Open? Guys aren't going to London.
Guys aren't going to
play
play in London and skip the U.S. Open. I don't think.
No.
They missed their
So
week.
the best guys you got down there, you got the favorites. Here's from the betting odds. John Rahm is the favorite. Then McIlroy, Patrick Cantlay, who's won there before, Xander, Schauffele, Jordan Spieth, Colin Morikawa, Cam Smith, Victor Hovland, Fitzpatrick, Lowry, Zalatoris, Hideki Matsuyama.
It's a good field.
DeChambeau's in it.
Yeah.
I don't know how he controls
you remember his circus
course.
You remember that circus he had there a couple years ago?
Yeah.
When he was arguing with the guy trying to hit on the other side of the fence.
Adam Scott,
maybe
Jason
Ricky
Day,
Fowler can win.
DeChambeau, Kuchar.
He's always positive.
Maybe.
Kuchar always plays well there.
Gary Woodland, Ricky Fowler. Yeah, I'm not right. It just doesn't.
It's a good field, but
it's
without.
Field. Yes.
There was a time when this would have the 10. It had the 10 best players in the world.
It was like a major kind of.
Yeah, I mean it was kind of the way that, other than the players, it was like one of the best stops on tour, and it still is. The way they treat the people, and for all of you going, it's awesome. What I would say, like if you have an ability, go tomorrow to the Pro-Am. I mean, the Pro-Am tomorrow is going to be awesome.
I was supposed to play in the COVID 2020.
You were supposed to. It is sad. I hate to salt the wound with that.
Yeah.
But it's like the Mannings are there tomorrow. Larry Fitzgerald's there tomorrow. Steve Young is
be
playing.
Awesome. No Joe.
Wouldn't that have been something if you would have been paired with Steve Young for a walking 18 at Muirfield?
I'd had a great time talking with Steve Young.
And you just would have annihilated him?
I would have beaten him in golf. But
I
we
feel
would
like
have
we
had a
know
great
some
time.
people that could have arranged that.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know how they do it anymore. I don't know how they're coming up with the foursomes for that.
This comes to us from Dustin A. Said, speaking of the memorial, Northeast Ohio native, Northwestern Malone alum Justin Lower received a sponsor exemption for this week if you're looking for someone to root for. Big
that's
Cleveland
cool.
sports fan. Yeah, so good luck, Justin.
Good luck to Justin on that. Yeah. There'll still be plenty of storylines. I'll watch it. Looks like the weather's going to be good for it. Gibby wants to know, what is the best piece of advice I can give for the best experience? I mean, I think there's two different ways to experience, like big-time golf tournaments. You either follow a group or you just sit at a hole and park. So, the sit at a hole and park is at 14, the short par 4.
Is that the one where the water's to the right of the green?
Water's to the right of the green. It's an
That's
awesome
where I was.
hole.
I did sit there. The 1 year I was there. That's where we did sit.
So that's a great place to be. So the water's right to the right. It's a short par 4. Can't hit driver because there's no way. So you got to get it to stop before the green, or you just hit a bomb and you just try to bury it on the left-hand side, but then you can't chip down because it's a ice skating rink down. So that's kind of the marquee place to be. 10.
And then you get 15's tee shot is like right behind it, right? Which is
it is now. You used to not be able to see it, but they opened that all up now.
Yeah.
And so now you could, theoretically, see. If you were on the back, if you were looking at 14, if you were to the back to the left side,
that's
that
where
back
I was.
bank, you'd be able to see shots in and then tee shots at 15.
Yep.
So that's a pretty good view if you want to do that. 18's really cool hole because you can see where they come, and you don't realize until you're there that you're basically walking. It feels like you're walking up a 90-degree angle to go from the fairway to the green. It's so
correct.
It's like this. So that sucks the life out of you. But yeah, I mean, it's great. My favorite thing to do there was I would go, and we had, we were in the media, obviously, so we would have the inside the ropes passes, and it didn't always have to be like Tiger. I remember one year I followed for a practice round. I followed Bubba Watson around. I don't particularly like Bubba, but he was really fun to just watch him hit. Like there was nobody around him, and I'll never forget. He pulled out an iron, and he said, "How far are the bunkers?" And they said 288, and he pulled out an iron and hit it over the bunkers. And I thought, well, that's a different game that I play.
Oh yeah.
The other thing, that type of thing's cool. The practice rounds are really fun.
Yeah.
I think that you get better access in the practice rounds, honestly, than you do in the tournament.
For sure. I would also say figure out how to get yourself invited to a corporate boondoggle in one of those like cabins.
Yes.
That's always a good place to be.
Yeah, that's how I'll be spending my
That's on, what are those,
Thursdays,
on number
Fridays.
1? They're on number 1?
They're all the way along 1. You can't see any of the golf.
No.
But just for, the good time. So that's where.
It's a great time.
It's a really good
time. And then
time.
walk on out to the course. You actually can walk down from there to 14 fairly easily, if I recall.
Not the cabins.
Not the cabins. The cabins, you're that's quite a ways from 14.
Okay.
Yeah, you could walk out to 1 and to 10. From the cabins. Pretty good. And then, I'm sorry, 1. You can walk 1 fairway, 9 green, 10 tee box.
Yeah.
Are all kind of right there. But yeah, those things are fun, and if the weather's good, it's a hell of a party.
Yeah.
If for that region, it feels. I've always said this about it, and it's funny they're now using it in their taglines. To me, it's like the official start of spring or the official start of summer in Central Ohio. Like once you get to the Memorial, the weather's usually good the rest of the way, and it sounds like the weather will be good here. But I think if I were them, I think not that Jack's going to listen to anybody, and certainly nor should he listen to me. But I think right now is the time for him to get a major there.
Yeah,
I think he's got the juice to do it. I think you could skip a year of the Memorial if you had to. I know he doesn't want to, but I think you could. I think it's time for a U.S. Open or a PGA to return to Ohio. It's been too damn long.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with.
And that's the course to do it at. It's set up. It's got all the parking. It's got the practice facility. The players love it. It's tough. It's a real test.
Is that a better PGA Championship or U.S. Open? The rough is ungodly.
Well, I think it's probably a better PGA. I don't know if Jack would ever give the course up. Like the U.S. Open, don't you have to give up the course?
I feel like
you have
is
to
that
let
the
them
deal?
do it. Yep.
They bring in their own people to run the show.
Yeah, the USGA takes over.
So you have
They
to hand
set
over
it
the
up.
keys to your course for a year?
Yeah, the USGA sets. I don't know for how long, but for a period of time, certainly.
Yeah. So that would be something to take it to keep an eye on. But it's good. It's good fun. 14, 18, those are the good ones certainly. And honestly, find a group that doesn't have a dude in it and watch them for 6 holes. Just follow them for 6 holes because you can get around most of the golf course. By the way, this year's a good year to go because there's no big time draws, so you're going to be able to move around that course. I think pretty good if you just like watching pros play golf.
Yeah,
you'll be able to. NBA Finals start on Thursday of the Celtics and the Warriors on Thursday. I think it's as good as you're going to get from the NBA. You're not going to do better than those 2 teams based on the 4 teams left from a TV standpoint.
and the Warriors have
run.
home court.
They do. Yep, they do.
Are they doing the finals like the old way? Thursday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday.
Yeah, 9:20.
That part's ridiculous.
Awful. I think Sunday's like a 8:20. Sunday's probably an hour earlier. I mean, why?
Right.
Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday. Like, how are you not playing on the weekends?
And it's been this way for a while, but it used to be finals games were only on Tuesday, Thursday, or Sunday.
Yeah, right.
So now what did you say? Thursday.
Thursday's game 1, Sunday game 2, Wednesday game 3, Friday game 4, Monday game 5.
Oh, that
How do you
sucks.
go a whole
And then a
weekend
Thursday
without
and a
game?
Sunday.
Why wouldn't you want to have a game on a Saturday?
I don't
That
know.
used to be the most annoying thing in covering the Cavs when they were in the finals. Was literally 3 days between games in the
Yeah,
city.
because
Like,
all the travels.
the national media is like, what do we do? Like, what's there to do?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, there's a lot to do, but there's a lot.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It's just
brutal.
It's just waiting around. Like, how about we play?
Yeah, well, that sucks. And then, I mean, the start times are just awful.
Brutal.
They're just not incumbent on wanting young people to watch it ever. And I think they'll pay a penalty for this. I think it's part of why baseball is in the situation it is, because 20-some years ago they started playing World Series games at 8:30, and little kids can't watch them in the fall.
And
So-
late, right, in October.
They go till 1 o'clock in
Yeah,
October.
the
It's
only 8
ridiculous.
o'clock starts are on Sunday games for the finals.
That's
Otherwise,
outrageous.
everything's 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
Even the games in Boston?
Yep.
It's awful. That happened to us. That happened here.
Yep.
9:27
Oh,
tips
yeah.
for Cavs games. It was a joke.
I would have to get to the queue at like 3 o'clock. We weren't even tipping for 6 hours.
Yeah. Think about that, folks. Think about a 9:27 East Coast tip. How stupid that is.
Yeah.
It's insane.
For East Coast teams. Like, we're acquiescing to the West. Again, 80% of the population Central and Eastern time.
And we're even seeing like some of the
I
I
believe
think
I
the
have that
UFC event that they just had, the main event started at like 12:45 in the morning.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. They obviously have their reasons. It doesn't make any sense
Sure.
to me. I know you won't be into the NHL. Gibby will probably be watching a little bit.
Can I guess who's in it?
Yeah.
Based off of what I've seen on social media, I believe the Carolina Hurricanes are still involved.
Bzzz.
Out.
They're out.
Thanks
Okay.
for playing.
Rangers.
Yep.
Yes.
Did Rangers beat Carolina?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I've seen.
You saw
obviously I
that.
saw things for that
Yep.
game.
Game
Yep.
7.
And then they're playing
Sucked, by the way.
against whoever beat Boston.
No, they beat Florida.
They beat Florida.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay made it.
Well, they're going for their 3rd straight cup.
Yeah.
And they were embroiled in scandal, supposedly, a couple weeks ago.
Did they?
They said the players were out places they shouldn't have been the night before an elimination game when they were facing elimination, and then they responded with a victory.
I mean, that's just you're confident.
I can't remember that. It's been,
Go
that
Lions.
was their toughest series was against Toronto in round 1,
Okay.
and then they breezed through Florida.
Yeah,
So
they've been waiting, I feel like, 2 weeks
They
to
have
play
been,
this.
yeah, and they'll annihilate the Rangers. Like, this is.
So they're going to win 3 in a row.
Well, they're going to go for 3 in a row. On the other side is Connor McDavid with Edmonton, who's the brightest. He's this generation's Crosby. Different player, obviously, but that type of hype.
Oh, so we're still not even to the finals?
No.
No,
yeah.
we're only in
so
the conference
the
finals.
conference
Oh,
finals.
give me a
So
break.
it's McDavid and Edmonton against Colorado, the Avs, and Colorado's loaded. I
Patrick
think
Roy.
most people think it'll
Patrick
be.
was a good goaltender for the
He
Colorado.
really was. You see the
Avalanche.
advertisement for that 30 for 30
I did.
on them in the wings and the amount of vitriol?
That's what I was just looking
Hate.
up. I can't remember the name of it. I saw the preview, and I was like, okay,
Is
I'm
Stevie-
in.
Oh, it'll be good.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
Stevie Yzerman featured?
Claude Lemieux.
Is there a Sergei Fedorov? A Nick Lidstrom?
That was probably before Lindstrom. Fedorov would have been in the mix. That was when a Chris Osgood Patrick Waugh goalie fight
Yeah, love to see that.
legend.
I have pretty good knowledge of the 90s NHL because of NHLPA 93, 94. What a game.
It was a fantastic game.
What a game.
It's not so much me as good as his Roenick. He's good.
Oh, Roenick.
But that run, so that ends with versus. And then that's what happened to the NHL. The NHL disappeared for 20 years, but they're back now. You start to see it again.
Boy,
I feel like the
playoffs have just
NHL.
been
I think that video
fantastic.
game had something to do with the popularity of the. I feel like people knew the NHL better because those games were so popular. Like
It
Pavel
was
Bure, the Russian Rocket,
For sure.
I had
It
him.
was a blast to play that game. It was
Yes.
really easy. Much like FIFA
Yeah,
in the last 20 years has led to the popularity of that sport.
totally.
The same would be true of that NHL 94, that era.
Yeah,
They were just it was accessible. It was easy to play.
and you learned everybody, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, Ray Bork, defenseman, Bruins. Let's go.
Let's go.
Do I even
Indeed.
have that right? I think I do.
You do.
77?
You
were
nailed it.
77?
He wore 77 with the Avs. I think he
Okay.
wore 7 to start with the Bruins, but then they retired it for Phil Esposito, I believe.
Okay,
And then he had to go to 77. And there's your hockey for today.
there it is.
You listen to so much more to come. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. So tomorrow, guys back out here.
Yeah,
And we'll hear from
media
them.
availability. We're gonna hear from everybody. Get to see everybody. It's gonna be glorious.
It's going to be a lot of fun. You have that to look forward to, which is very nice. You got a gorgeous afternoon.
Enjoy
Look
it.
forward to that, which is going to be very nice as well. The next level is coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.